Rustic potatoes, whipped like a Kentucky politician who just accidentally wandered into IML. Sumptuous meat, crumbled for the gods. The delightfully dilly ranch that really brightens up the palate. A modern take on the classic we're calling Kenilworth Pie. The workhorse of a meal. It's a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, but both actually work. It's efficient, so you can go back to trading crypto, ignoring your children, or calling your wife your mistress's name. Hey Richard! Today on Entertaining with Holland Tunnel. In the immortal words of the late great Mariah Carey, honey, it's Christmas, baby. Hello, and welcome to Entertaining with Holland Tunnel. I'm Holland Tunnel. 'Tis the season to consume, and in light of Elon Musk's historic purchasing of an election, I come to you with a rather immodest proposal. It's time to eat the rich. In this program, you will be learning how to cook, you will be learning how to love, you'll be learning how to hate. I am a hateful bitch after all. It's a good thing. This season, join us as we take a culinary tour of the country's wealthiest zip codes. It will be an adventure from Tribeca to Beverly Hills, eating the rich all the way. Creating dishes that represent the people, the culture, and the totally ethically acquired fat stacks of cash of the residents of these zip codes. I'm glad you're all here, and welcome to Entertaining. Today's dish represents Kenilworth, Illinois, one of the wealthiest zip codes in the state and in the country. Kenilworth was founded by Joseph Sears, no relation, and no Wikipedia page. Kenilworth started as an all-white community by design. Eventually, they voted to lift the ban in order to allow servants to live in their homes with them, but still no Jews. They do suffer. They send their kids to New Trier, best known for inspiring Mean Girls. And you know what? I'm really glad we're starting with this dish. It teaches all the fundamentals of eating the rich. It teaches us about loopholes, shortcuts, that feeling when your husband is calling you Holland Tunnel and you're like, who the fuck is that bitch? So first we're gonna start with our potatoes. Fantastic. We're gonna take 2 pounds of russet potatoes. That's 4 small ones or 2 very big ones. You should get a kitchen scale. It's the only scale worth having in the house. First, we're gonna cut up our potatoes. Wasn't that easy. We're going to take these potatoes and we're going to yeet them into this bowl of water. Start with cold water. We're just going to get that boiling. It's nice and covered. We're going to boil the water and let it do its thing for 15-20 minutes until it's fork tender. So I wasn't able to make it up to Kenilworth for some lawyer or some accountant, so today we're making the recipe with lamb. What's so wonderful about this dish is you can make it with lamb or with beef or with pork. You wouldn't want to use your wealthy ex to save him for Nepo baby back ribs. The only real difference when changing proteins is the cook time and the lengths you have to go to get to your ingredients. Next, we're going to need some oil and of course our ground lamb. Oh, miraculous. Right, so we have our oil, some lamb. Oh, wonderful. So now what we're going to do is I have a pan heating up, add some oil. And once the oil is hot enough, you will put your lamb into the pan. The water is boiling for our potatoes. The lamb is sizzling in the oil, and we're just gonna start breaking this up. Lots of ways to do it. You can use a spatula, you can use a potato masher. Now we need to think about what we're adding to this next. We're gonna need some flour. Oh, fantastic. Great wig. And the other thing we're gonna need momentarily is some tomato paste. This is Worcestershire. We will need that in a bit. Here I have that iconic, that Leah and Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. You remember it used to be in that like paper bag? And it's funny because the tagline is still unwrap the flavor, but it's not wrapped. This is very stupid. Someone should tell them. I will need this, but I do need tomato paste now. Ah, fantastic. We have our flour. We're gonna put a tablespoon or so in the lamb, and we're just gonna mix it around, let it cook up a little bit. And that's gonna partially act as a thickener as we go about making this dish. You just wanna make sure that that flour is nice and cooked off a little bit. Once we've done that, we're gonna add the tomato paste. We're gonna take about 2 tablespoons of this tomato paste and we're going to add that as well. But we're just cooking up that tomato paste a little bit. It just doesn't taste as good when you don't cook it in the pan before then adding in, other ingredients, liquids, vegetables. Stick around. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Holland Tunnel's Hot Slut fuchsia hot sauce. The label's misspelled. I made it myself. It's delicious. DM me if you want some. I misspelled fuchsia. It's really good. You can give it to your friends. I love it. I put it on my ice cream. It's delicious. It's sweet. It's got Michigan blueberries, golden kiwi, Fresno chilies, Tabasco chilies. It's got all sorts of shit from my garden. It's really good. I put it in a bottle. Give it to your enemies and tell them it's poppers. DM me for a bottle or two. Now we're gonna add most of the rest of the ingredients. I need herbs, yes, carrots, onions, shallots, garlic. And then the last thing we're gonna need here is a cup of stock. Oh, by the way, this is what your stock should look like. It should be a gelatinous cube. If you do hate yourself and are using store-bought stock, add a packet of gelatin to this. It'll make it a little bit richer. Really, you should just have your own stock and it should look like this. So now is a great moment to talk about stock. In prepping these vegetables, obviously I had stems and skins and stuff. You're always gonna save your trash. You save the trash. You're gonna use it, you're gonna put it in a bag, you're gonna label it stock futures, and you're gonna put it in your freezer. Once your stock futures have vested, or whatever stock futures do, I don't know, I'm not from Kenilworth. Once your bag is full and you have enough vegetable scrap, chicken bones, you're gonna then make your stock. Don't throw away your trash. So next we're gonna add that cup of stock. It's a little dark there on the bottom, but it's gonna come right up. That's one of the benefits of cooking with so many juicy liquids. We're gonna add a splash of apple cider vinegar. That's gonna help deglaze the pan, get any of those good brown bits, and get all that good flavor. Oh, the Worcestershire. I need to unwrap the flavor. And we're doing about a tablespoon of that. This is also the point where we're going to add our half a diced yellow onion, 4 ounces of carrot, chopped up. The trick with these is use baby carrots. 4 ounces is the right amount of carrots. 1 carrot, no. 2 carrots, absolutely not. 3 carrots, what is this, Glencoe? 4 carrots? Yes, okay, I'll marry you. We're gonna add our chopped shallots, chopped celery, just 1 rib, garlic, meow, and we're going to add our herbs. I have a confession to make, and it's wow. It's really hard for me because I just shamed you all for using store-bought stock, but today I didn't use fresh thyme from my garden. I used dried. I couldn't possibly skip it. Thyme is money. The conversion there is 1 parts dry to 3 parts fresh. Start cooking these vegetables down. We're gonna bring that to a simmer. We're gonna let it simmer for about 5 minutes. It's a good idea to taste your food when you're cooking it. So we're gonna do that. That's really fucking good. Next, we're gonna make our very dilly ranch. Ranch is a staple of the Midwestern culture. In this bowl, we have 1/4 cup of mayo, 1/2 cup of buttermilk. We're also going to do 1/2 a cup of sour cream. Oh yeah, perfect. Into that, we'll throw our fresh herbs. Look at her. The last thing we need here is our spices. So we need a teaspoon each. Onion powder, garlic powder, dried mustard powder. We're also gonna spice things up with a little bit of cayenne. I have Midwestern family members for whom crushed black pepper is too spicy, but this is good. And the last thing we're gonna add here is some fresh cracked black pepper. Always fresh cracked. Dried pepper? What is dried pepper doing in this house when I said no dried pepper ever? Just added a teaspoon of kosher salt, and we're just gonna give it a little taste. Perfect. This has been simmering and reducing and thickening and cooking and all good. So we're gonna add the frozen peas and corn. We're gonna mix those in and let that continue to simmer. Doesn't that look good? It smells so fragrant in here. I wish you were here to smell it. This is now simmered. You can see here that it has reduced. We are going to take out the bay leaf because that's a fun step we do in recipes. So with our potatoes now very tender, we have some heavy cream heating up. We've got this 3 tablespoons or so of thyme butter. There's lots of ways to mash a potato. I prefer the correct method, which is of course a potato masher. It's right there in the name. You could also use a fork or your bare hands, or you can, take a potato and put it up against against the wall and bang your head into it over and over and over again. And if it's hurting, that's how you know it's working. And then at some point it stops hurting, and that's how you know it's really working. You know, you've got options. Now that we've mashed these up a good bit, we are going to add some of that freshly cracked black pepper. And we're going to add a little bit of salt. And our heavy cream is hot now, so we'll pour that in as well. And we'll give it a little taste and see what else it needs. So we're just, doing a little mashup. DJ Holland Tunnel spinning those sick beats. All this mashing. My arm hasn't been this tired since the last time I hung out with your dad. Give it a little taste. Need salt, perfect. The thing about making food that tastes good, salt. The next thing we're going to do is put this mashed potato over the lamb. We're going to give the lamb one quick last stir, and then we're going to cover it in the potatoes. Yeah. Our mashed potatoes, glob it over, and we're just taking this potato, we're spreading it out. Nice little potato puck. Doesn't that look wonderful? The last thing we're doing is we're just gonna grate a little bit of Parmesan that we're gonna sprinkle over the top, and then we're popping in that 425-degree oven for about 20 minutes until it's started to brown. You can never have too much cheese. Now, it's time to bake the damn thing. We're gonna put it in the oven, the lovin' oven, and that's just gonna do its thing for 20 or so minutes. One thing I love about the holidays is togetherness. As we sit down to so many dinners and holiday parties, moments where we're interacting with other humans and needing to seem happy about it, it's good to be armed with some conversation topics. Politics, always a winner. Ask your grandmother to recount what happened last time fascism was big in the world, or you could give an impassioned speech on why the Department of Education is bad, actually. The great thing about talking about politics is everyone will have a good time. You could share fun facts, like the rates of husbands killing their wives increased during the holidays. Religion, what is Jesus' actual horoscope if he wasn't born in December? Or the Jaguar rebrand. It's great. I think it's great. A lot of people don't think it's great, but were they gonna buy a Jaguar? Were they the customer? Why do we care? I love it. And that Miami pink, beautiful. Can't wait to drive one. So you've got options. Look how nice and brown and bubbly that is. That just looks so delicious, and it smells so good. Wow. That looks pretty special. Just bubbling away, and boy, does it smell good. It's got that nice brown, crispy crust, just an upper crust. We're gonna need to let this rest for about 15 minutes so it can thicken up a little bit, and then it'll be time to serve. I'm gonna eat this now, right out of the bowl. I'm just dying to try it. I put together this wonderful bite. It's got a little bit of ranch, some potato, lamb. Let's see how it went. It tastes hot and rich, just like your husband. Thank you so much for joining us here on Entertaining with Holland Tunnel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and tell your friends. Enjoy.